I don't typically comment too much on rumors or speculation only because you just never know. And honestly, as we get closer and closer to E3, which is just a few short weeks away, you're starting to see plans finalize, and typically that's when the biggest leaks occur that are the most credible, I guess I should say. The most credible leaks occur during then. So take this with a grain of salt. But I have read that Square Enix may reveal yet another exclusive game to PlayStation 5 in the Final Fantasy universe, and we're just a couple weeks away from that. So I want to talk briefly about that, but before I do, I would love for you guys to subscribe to the channel. Super easy. So this, I've seen this made the rounds actually first on Reset Era. It seems that a lot of other gaming journalists that I follow on social media, primarily on Twitter, have also been commenting on this. So I'm starting to believe it a little bit more, and I want to believe because I love Final Fantasy. A game near and dear to my heart, I'm sure to many other people's hearts. Grew up playing the old Final Fantasies back on the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, transitioned with many others into the mobile Final Fantasy space before it kind of found a home on PlayStation, really with Final Fantasy VII, and then just getting, in my opinion, greater and greater and more epic in tales since then. We're due for another Final Fantasy, and we know we're going to get one in Final Fantasy 16. That has been something that we've already seen a snippet of a game trailer for about 9 months or so ago. I'm sure we'll see more of that coming soon. That game looks fascinating. So I feel like that space is already captured. I can't imagine Square would announce another Final Fantasy like, oh, by the way, we're doing Final Fantasy 17 while we're doing 16. So I think your big, tent pole kind of like the game everybody's talking about, I feel like they've already got that space captured. Simultaneously, we also know that Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate is coming out, which includes the up-resed Final Fantasy VII Remake into the next generation console space, coming on the PlayStation 5 on June 10th. It's also going to include a side story featuring Yuffie, who, by the way, I did pick in the Gold Saucer way back when. She was my date, not Barrett. I picked Yuffie. I'm excited for this. I have yet to play the Final Fantasy VII Remake, so I'm really excited about this game, just finally diving in and seeing what all the hype was about. So we've got the remake space covered, at least on the proper Final Fantasy. So then the question goes back to, what exactly could this be? So this is according to Navtra, who I did a little bit of research on and is actually a pretty credible leaker, believe it or not. I didn't do a percentage, but a lot of these leakers come out and they say something, it builds a lot of hype, a lot of traction. I think a lot of us kind of were burnt and or debunked a lot of these leakers, particularly around the PlayStation 5 launch, because so many people knew when the console was coming out, it was going to be this date, this time, and we got burned so many times for that, trying to get a console early, getting hyped up for things that didn't come out to be. So leakers and kind of having a pedigree of leaking, at least in one genre, like, okay, this person is always good at Nintendo, this person is always good at Xbox, this person is always good at PlayStation, whatever. Navtra leaked today on the Reset Era forums, which I was banned on, by the way. I talked about that in a War Never Changes video. How stupid, but I could still read it. Square Enix is planning on a exclusive PlayStation 5 title. It says here, I believe you can expect at least one more major Final Fantasy announcement in addition to any of the updates on the currently announced things like Final Fantasy 16 or Endwalker, which is the latest expansion in the multiplayer online game, or the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I believe this will be a good E3 season for Square overall. I don't know their exact E3 schedule, but I'm guessing based on knowledge of what games they have in the department and how development and how far they are and their target release dates, take this with a grain of salt. I believe we're getting two major reveals in June: a PlayStation 5 exclusive Final Fantasy title and a cross-gen Eidos title. So that is really, really cool. Is it true? I don't know. I want to believe. I want to believe. I think we all want to believe. I don't think there's any planet in which people wouldn't be excited for more Final Fantasy. Could this be a remake of a really old game? Are we going to start seeing some like my dream Final Fantasy remake, and I know I'm probably the only person on the planet, give me the US version of Final Fantasy II, the one that had Cecil, the Dark Knight, and my eternal favorite Final Fantasy character, Kain, the Dragoon. Give me more of that. I doubt we'll get it. I know we got the After Years on the Nintendo Wii Shop, which Kain somehow turns into like a holy dragoon, and he has magic, and great. I'll take all that. Just bring it over to next gen. Give me some nice graphics. Give me some voice-acted cutscenes. I'm sold. That's what I want. What do you guys want? Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. And we are so close away from this, guys. I cannot wait. I cannot wait until we get to see some more E3 goodness. So stay tuned to the channel for that. I will have plenty more coverage as it drops. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.